Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What's up, everybody? How you doing? All those listening under the sound of my voice. It is Monday. This is the Stacks and Nick J show minus Stacks. Today I identify as Stacks.
Well, there's a cousin thing going on, so
yes, Stacks is busy. He's in a secret location. He can't tell us where he's at. He'll have to kill us. So
CIA duty was showing.
Right. So it's just it's ladies' night on a Monday night. Nick J, how are you doing today, sweetheart?
I'm all right.
Doing good?
Yeah. Philly weather. Ugh. I don't know what's worse right now, the Philly weather or the Philly crime. But the Eagles are 4-0.
All right.
Yay!
Yeah, for the Eagles. Okay. Come on, Eagles.
Texas Commanders are in the basement.
Yeah, I wish I could join in on the football talks, but I don't watch foosball. I don't know nothing about it. I only go to I haven't been to a tailgate in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But even if I do go, it's only for the food. I'm here for the food and the fellowship. I don't know nothing about foosball. I'm a basketball girl.
Ah.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't even really know that much about basketball. I just enjoy playing it. Like, I can't go through stats and history and all of that stuff. But I enjoy watching it and going to the games that are here in Charlotte. So I can't wait for that season. Trey wants to know the who? The Washington who?
Yeah, honey. Seriously.
Now I will say during football season, my timeline is full of football talk. All the fellas and the ladies who like football, who tailgate and all of that, my timeline is full of it. I may not keep up on it, but I keep up on it because it's all over the timeline.
Yeah, it's fun.
Maybe one day I'll watch it. My husband isn't big into sports either, so I mean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he'll watch it and he may know some of the stats, but he won't. Like on Sundays, I don't have to worry about him ignoring me because he's watching football. So that's
see, so my girlfriend, she likes football, but I am into it more than her. Like, I would easily sit down on a Sunday and watch every single game.
So does she sit with you and want to learn it, or she just lets you be?
I mean, she understands the game, but she watches the Eagles game, and that's it. Plus, I think, we both be hype watching the game. But yeah.
Yeah, that's not me.
Belated happy birthday wishes to you.
Thank you. My birthday was yesterday. I am a whopping 42 years old. My birthday was good.
And I was a Libra.
It's Libra season. Hey, shout out to Merv. Libra fam, all the Libras in the house. Hey, it's Libra season.
That's right.
We bring the balance in the place. We even
Not
out feel. Well, I don't know what kind of scales Merv got dished out. Merv is a whole different type. Them scales be tipping, okay? Merv scales be tipping, all right? So all of y'all that listen to us, y'all know Merv, and we are two different types of Libras, or maybe we're the same, but yeah. So I was a little bummed about my birthday because we had a hurricane.
Yeah.
And we lost power, so my birthday plans were canceled. Friday night I was supposed to do something. Saturday, I didn't really have too many plans on Saturday, but we lost power like Friday late afternoon. And we did not get power back until late afternoon on Saturday. So it was, I was bummed out. And we have a pet. We have a lizard. So I was I was concerned because lizard, he's a desert animal, so he has to stay under the lights.
And that heated rock and all of that.
Yes. So Friday night when we lost power, it was kind of okay because that would be the time he would normally sleep. but I was thinking, whatever. It's 8, 9 o'clock at night. By this time, we had been out for a few hours, so it was like, all right, let's just go to bed. In the morning, I will wake up to some power. All is well. My birthday weekend is not completely ruined. Try to be optimistic, right? Try to have the upscale. Woke up Saturday morning. It was still cold. It was still dark, and then Gargamel, which is our lizard, was cold. And when you have a desert animal and they get cold, they can die.
Yeah.
So, as a mother, I should be worried about my husband and my daughter, my human daughter. But the whole time I was like, Gargamel needs his lights. We got to get him someplace. So my husband ran to Lowe's to get hand warmers. So we could keep Gargamel warm. Gargamel ain't but this big. He's 4 inches long, maybe 5 inches long, and the rest of his tail. And I'm over here trying to figure out how to survive, how to preserve my little lizard. Meanwhile, my daughter's like, I'm okay, Mom. I'm like, yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, I want to get a bearded dragon. My son and his boyfriend have one.
Really? We were going to get two, but we decided to get just one because they would need to be separate. And they're I wasn't fully aware of this, but they're expensive. Like it's their food.
Yeah.
He eats like lizards eat crickets, worms, and certain types of roaches, and we have to get more. Like every 3 or 4 days, we're back at the pet store getting more food. So Trey said next blackout, place stones in a barbecue and use the radiant heat from that. Okay, Trey, I'm gonna make sure I keep that because we was like first world problems, right? The minute the lights go out, it's like the world is over. No electricity, the world is over. So I know I couldn't survive. If the zombie apocalypse comes, check on me. Okay?
Yeah,
please check on me. I will not survive. I need civilization. I will not survive. I will not be able to make fire. I am not eating whatever is moving. Please check on me or send a prayer up because I will not survive. Trust me. It's not gonna work for me. I'm not gonna work. But how was it in Philly? Did you guys get hit?
Oh no, I mean it's windy and rainy. It's cold today. It's been raining like all weekend.
But you guys didn't have any issues.
No, we always get like the remnants.
Oh yeah, I wish we got the remnants.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Just some rain, but we had a whole tree fall. It was a mess. Anyway, let's get to our Monday topics. I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna put you in charge now. I'm gonna throw you. I'm gonna throw you the football. You catch it, and you're gonna touch down it for me, right? I'm gonna follow your lead today. It's on you.
Well, you want to do the shout outs first?
We could do the shout outs to the Guys Podcast Network. We got Sean who sneaked in for a little bit. We synced you.
Yeah,
we
that was
seen
weird.
You, Sean. We seen you sneak in and sneak out. Give a shout out to Stacks, Merv, Tina B, Mark, Tayson, Rika. We got Trey in the comments. We want to shout out also Blackjack TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Apple, Spotify. We thank all of y'all for really listening to us. It may seem like we just doing this to talk to each other on camera, but without y'all, we really wouldn't be here. So we want to thank our listeners and our viewers as well. If you are able to do either or both, please join us on Facebook Live or YouTube Live if you want to see our beautiful faces. But if our voices are enough, you're able to catch us on Apple, Spotify, and also stream.com, channel 6. We are there as well, and you can actually subscribe and get all things The Guys right there on stream.com. That's STRIMM.com, channel 6. So we want to shout out everybody that's listening to us and watching us. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. I'm speaking it into existence. That I'm manifesting that one day we're going to have sponsors because the way that you just like broke that down, I can hear you like, doing the sponsorship,
Shout out to our sponsors, blah, 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 blah.
Yes. And even doing like
use the code, the Guys.
I dropped my phone like 20 times and it still works. Like I don't have any.
Right. Use the code, the guys pod for 15% off somewhere.
Listen, we are putting that out in the universe, in the atmosphere. But
Yes, we are speaking it into existence.
it's fall.
It
One
is
thing I
fall.
love about fall is the dark lip colors. Oh my
Really?
God. I love dark lip colors.
So
Give
you're a
me
black lipstick kind of girl,
not
maroon,
black,
burgundy.
but
Okay.
maroon, burgundy, a nice vampy purple, a nice vampy red. I love it. Oh
Yeah.
my God, I love it.
Shout out to Tina B too. I don't think I mentioned her because she does makeup, and this is her season. Like if you follow Tina B,
Mm-hmm.
you can see that she starts to post all of her makeup looks for Halloween around this time, and the girl is bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Like she is a beast with it. So y'all make sure y'all follow Tina B. Her I believe it's This Is Tina B or Tina B Is Me. I'm gonna get the right information before we close out and get the information so you
Tina
guys can follow
B,
her.
this is me.
Tina B, This Is Me. Yes, I'm gonna get the correct information at the end, and I'll make sure I put that there because y'all gotta follow her. Her makeup looks are incredible. She even
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's that is a true art. I'm not a big makeup wearer. The most you're gonna get out of me is some colored lip gloss, and that's usually from either Walmart or the beauty supply store. That's it. You're gonna get all this ugly naturally. Okay, so I'm not a big makeup wearer, but I've seen people do it like around this time who really do those big makeup looks, and it is an art. It's not easy to do. I see all kinds of reels and videos of
Yeah.
people doing transformations of whatever character they're playing, or just even changing their faces and making their faces look like a brick wall, or a
Mm-hmm.
dog, or an animal, or look like their face been cut up. It's Listen, I can't do it, but I admire it because it's definitely something that
Yeah,
you have.
yeah.
It's a skill. And
Mm-hmm.
it's sweater weather too. So you get to wear
The
nice
weather
fuzzy
weather.
sweaters, which
Do
is
you
a
did you see that SNL skit before?
uh-uh.
The
Which
sweater
one?
weather?
No, I sweater weather is a scent at Bath and Body Works, which is one of my favorite fall scents at Bath and Body Works.
Oh.
It's called sweater weather. It has it's almost like a teak wood musk.
Huh.
It's somewhat of a masculine scent, but not really.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Sweater weather at Bath and Body Works is a bomb scent. But yeah, this is the time where people love where the colors are changing. It's everything is, well, for us it's sweet potato, but it is pumpkin season for some others.
I like the smell of like pumpkin spice candles and all of that.
Yep,
But
that's about it.
yeah, the
That's
pumpkin
where it
spice
stops. Yeah,
Oreos, pumpkin spice coffee, pumpkin spice, just all this stuff. No.
it's everywhere. Yeah, and a friend of mine who does baking, she put up a post. She said, "Whatever y'all gonna make and y'all put pumpkin in it, just replace it with sweet potato so it could taste good." Because I've never been into pumpkin anything, like nothing, not even, yeah, no, not the scents, not the taste. Not I'm trying to think if I've ever if
Mm.
I ever had anything pumpkin. No, I'm team sweet potato over here. Yeah, I can't do sweet potato fries, baked sweet potato,
Sweet potato
yams.
fries are delicious.
Yeah, I had some today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't do anything pumpkin. And I don't really get what the big deal is. Maybe I should taste it and see what the fuss is about.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just gonna take everybody's word for it because yeah, no pumpkin for me. No pumpkin for me. And plus
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's a nice change. A lot of times, and I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but there is a such thing as people being sad about in certain seasons.
Oh yeah, seasonal depression is big into this change.
Yeah, yeah. And I
Especially
don't
when you know that the time is about to go back. It does. Like you go into work and it's dark. You come home from work, once it gets to
It's
a certain
dark.
time, it's dark. It is.
Yeah, it gets dark at 4:30. You're like, wait a second. It feels like you got a night job. Like, what is this? What's
I
going on here?
saw something on it was either Facebook or Instagram. And this
They said
woman
we're not
said that
mentioning
how
much.
she combats it. No, it was Twitter, matter of fact, neither one. But she was
Hmm.
saying that how she combats it is that she is awake during the daylight hours and she sleeps, when it's dark.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody is saying time is not going back this year. Now I did hear that. I did hear that they were going to stop daylight savings.
They need
So
to. It's
Mr. Hall, I believe is it
Miss.
this year that they're starting? Is that Miss or Mr.? I'm not sure.
Miss.
Miss, okay. I'm not sure if they're starting it this year, but if they do, okay, cool. But then that brings up the conversation of, did we need it in the first place?
We
And
haven't
they're
needed it in
changing
a
the times.
while because of the farming economy. It's not
Yeah.
as big as it used to be. But I wonder where they'll. I hope that when they stop it, we'll go back to like the same time as like the rest of the world. Like when the time goes back, or if when it would go back,
Hmm.
I would call my family down in Trinidad, and we would be an hour behind them because they don't do that stupid change. And so
Yeah, it's only in America
I'm
that the
calling
time
them up,
changes.
and they like all asleep.
See? Yeah, I don't understand why. I know that the farming was a major reason why it was done, but
That was so long ago.
does one, maybe educate me, because maybe I'm too slow for this. Does 1 hour make that much of a difference?
Um,
Because
to be honest, I have no idea. I would assume like maybe I don't know. Don't give me the lion.
yeah, that's something that we have, because my whole thing is, so then y'all ain't have to do all of this changing of the times to begin with. So then now it makes it seem like, okay, y'all just doing whatever y'all want to do. Because if now all of a sudden changing the time doesn't matter, then y'all was messing with it to begin with. Y'all could have left it alone.
Yeah, yeah.
Which a lot of people really feel like, the others, I'll just say the others, been messing around with stuff, which is why we have all of this global warming, and why we don't have to change the times anymore, and all of that stuff. So yeah, why don't y'all just leave it alone? How about
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Yeah.
Y'all just leave it alone. But hopefully we don't have to go through it this year, because they're gonna stop it. Which, if they can stop that, then they can also take away this damn student loan. But that's another subject.
Child.
If y'all don't need the time changing, then y'all don't need these student loans either, because y'all just sent 50 billion over to Ukraine, and my student loan is only a couple, like tens of thousands. So y'all could have helped us out over here. Over
Baby.
here. So Trey said daylight saving times made a difference. Not so much with the adults that work. The kids working fields needed it due to
Uh,
child labor laws. Okay, all right, Trey. Thanks for informing us, because
yeah,
I wasn't
yeah.
curious about it. All I knew was that I had changed my clock, or I was going to be late to work.
Shreya, we never met, but you seem like a knower of random facts.
Yes,
I appreciate trivia.
yes. Thank you, Trey, for being our educator tonight of the changing of the times. We appreciate that. All right, what you got next?
Have what are you watching right now on TV?
To be
Do
honest
you
with
watch
you,
TV?
I do watch TV, but I don't watch the same TV everybody else watches. I'm a little weirdo. So everybody right now is doing House of Dragons. They're doing, Hocus Pocus. They're doing all of these fall Halloween type movies, and I don't watch any of those movies. I don't watch horror films. I stopped watching horror films,
Ah,
I want to say 12 plus years ago, to be honest with you. Um, I don't. There's certain movies that I don't watch just because of the images. I
mm-hmm.
I am a very visual person, so some of
It's
those
gotten a
images,
little bit rough these last few years. Like
yeah, and
the
yeah,
movies have
and
gotten wild.
yeah, and for some reason, I don't know if it's because there's an empath quality in me, or if because I'm a creative, I can visually see things, or
Mm-hmm.
my imagination is just vivid, because I do dream in color. All of those things could play into a fact as to why I don't watch certain things. Like, I can't watch things that are visually disturbing.
Wait, people's dreams are usually black and white?
What I mean, I don't know that, but what I mean is, for me, when I say I dream in color, is my dreams, when I do dream, because I don't dream often.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when I do dream, I try to pay attention to it because it means something, especially since it doesn't happen that often. But in my mind, when I'm going back to a dream, it's as if I'm watching a movie. I can literally see it in real life in my mind. The
Mm-hmm.
colors, what people are wearing, I can feel it. I can feel the how the weather, like if I'm outside in my, let's say in my dream I'm outside and it's sunny, I can feel it. I can feel the
Mm-hmm.
heat on my skin. I can feel the sun in my eyes. Like I some so if I was able to draw, I would be a
Mm-hmm.
beast with it because I could just see it that clearly. So that's what I
Mm-hmm.
mean when I say I dream in color, and I keep those images. So like certain movies I can't see, even if it's not a horror movie, but it's like too graphic, like what we'll talk about later with Dahmer. I
That
can't see stuff like
Atlanta episode, Trini to the Bone. Did you watch Atlanta?
no.
That
Mm-mm.
episode, oh my goodness, it was a great episode. I don't think I'll ever watch it again, only because of like that ending, the ending scene. It was a
Yeah.
lot.
And Dahmer is something that a lot of people are watching now as well. And I know you wanted to go over that. I haven't seen it. I know some of the story of it. I don't like my entertainment to be traumatic.
Mm,
So I don't watch movies that are extra graphic. I don't watch movies or TV shows that are laced in racism that will make me angry. I don't watch um certain any type of movie like that. I don't watch movies that's going to get me riled up and I'm going to be black power for 2 weeks and hate white people even more than I did the day before. Like I can't, my spirit can't take stuff like that. So I've been
mm.
seeing again on the timeline everybody talking about Jeffrey Dahmer and how crazy the story is. And I know you wanted to dive into that
I,
tonight.
so I guess when was this? 91? When the trial was? I guess it would be a new generation of people who are learning about him. Um
Yeah.
and I don't know how old that actor is that's playing him, but maybe he wasn't even old, old enough. Maybe he wasn't even born then, or
Well,
old
yeah,
enough
because
to know what is
this
going on.
trial was in 92.
Okay.
The trial was in 92. So let me look up who the actor is. Um
But I just, it,
His name is Evan Peters,
yeah.
and he was born in 87. So
Okay, so he was a kid.
yeah, he was a kid when this went down. He's only 35.
Hmm.
Yeah, so he was a kid when this was happening.
So like so I'm a true crime fanatic. I don't want to
Yeah.
say fanatic. That makes me seem like a sicko. But I really do enjoy true crime. I listen to true crime podcasts. I watch true crime documentaries. I watch.
Oh, speaking of that, I do have a friend of mine who has a podcast called In Killing Color. And
Mm,
she goes through crime stories. So if you get a chance, follow her on TikTok, In
yeah.
Killing Color.
Mm-hmm.
And
You said
she
in.
talks in Killing Color, like in
Okay.
living color, but
Yeah.
in Killing Color. Yeah. And
Okay.
she talks a lot about all of those trials, and she does some local stuff in Charlotte, but she does also some famous stories, and I think you will enjoy it because she definitely talks a lot about
Mm-hmm.
all of those crimes and stuff. So shout out to the podcast In Killing Color. Make sure y'all check her out. But I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. I just wanted to shout my friend out. But go ahead.
Um. Yeah. No. 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 And thank you. Um. But like and I mean anything. Like I watched the Pazuzu limited series. I watched I've seen countless Dahmer documentaries.
Hmm.
John Wayne Gacy. I mean just all the Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. And it doesn't bother me. But something about this show, it bothers me. Like, I don't know if
Yeah.
it's because you get to see more of like his sick ass personality. They're talking, and what I like about this though is that they don't center him. Like they talk about him, but they also talk about his victims. You
Yeah.
know, the documentary center him, his psychology and everything. You know, um
And I think that's probably what is so intriguing, because there is another a person that I watch, another personality, and he talked about the same thing. Like, he has a psychology major, and he talks about how intriguing the mind of a killer could be, right? That how they can make something make sense to them, and be very, enthusiastic about it, like, oh yeah, I killed her because she, and they'll give a reason, and in their mind it makes complete sense, right? So the mind of a killer is really intriguing for some, and I think America in general just has a fascination with killing and death, because that's
it's
how
so
that's how
weird.
America was gotten through violence. So there's a undertone of loving violence in America anyway. So people are intrigued by that. So I think a lot of people may not have fully known the whole story, but we know what he did, right? The basics of it. But I think people didn't really know or care too much about the family and what they were going through and how they felt. And it's now to 2022, and we're talking about 20 years later, and they having to relive this. But I have a question, like, Jeffrey Dahmer and the story, they was in the corner minding their business. Who thought to do this documentary again? Like, who said, you know what, let me
So
do a
it's
story about Jeffrey Dahmer?
so this is a dramatization. It's not a documentary, but what is very disappointing is that the family of the victims weren't notified. And a
Mm,
lot of these places they'll say, "Oh, well, it's public information." Yes. But they should not have learned about it when we learned about it.
that's
And
crazy.
and the the part in the trial when they're giving the victim impact statements,
Yeah.
like, remember when the sister, she went off, so she's on,
The neighbor, you mean, right?
browsing. No, the sister.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
fuck you up, Jeffrey, don't play with me and all this stuff.
Yes, in the courtroom.
Yeah, she was giving
Okay.
the victim impact statement. So she's on social media and scrolling, and then she happens to see,
Oh.
the video of someone, of the person who is, acting that part out. Because that
Mm.
that that video was going around where it showed, like, side by side, her and then the actress who's portraying her.
Yeah, I and that's something that people don't realize, which is, again, which is why I don't watch this stuff, because it brings up that spirit in you again. Some of us who have had to deal with death, the way that you grieve that is subjective, right? Everybody grieves death a different way. But
Mhm.
imagine if somebody in your family was killed in a very public way, to the point where it's all over TV, all over media. Everybody's talking about how your such and such auntie, grandmother, brother, sister, whatever died. There's videos of it. Everybody has their comments about it. You have to grieve through that.
And then
Then
not just that, like, there's this show I watched, Dark Tourism, and there is a Jeffrey Dahmer episode where people follow in his footsteps. They go to, like, the bars that he
copycats.
went to. They had to tear down that apartment complex that he lived at because
Ooh,
it became such a tourist attraction. So it's you really have, I would imagine that you would really have to work through it, work very hard
with
to
some
get some
heavy,
type of closure, in the midst of all of this stuff
right?
going on. But what is even more bizarre is the sexualization of Jeffrey Dahmer. And part of it is because of, many people find the actor who plays him attractive.
Mhm.
But the
Evan
memes that
Peters.
have, yeah,
Yeah.
and the memes that have come from it, and the jokes, and then Rick Ross saying that he wants a pair of Dahmer shades.
Mm, mm.
Somebody said, I want him to eat my ass like Dahmer. And it's just like, what?
Ugh. That's America. That's America. America is fixed. Listen, Trey said it is the hyper fixation of the target, making it logical that they be prey. It is that fixation. People are fixated on the craziness and the mind of that. Now you already got the eat the booty gang, right? Now you're thinking of could you imagine somebody that is traumatic. And then to have to go through that in the public, not knowing that this is happening, you're really being blindsided. So imagine the amount of therapy that this family needs, that these families
Mhm.
need, and to not be forewarned about this. Imagine, God forbid, Nick, somebody
That
in your
is definitely reopening a wound.
it's very much so. And I know that we jokingly say mental health matters when we're talking about Kanye and all his craziness that he does, but it
Oh,
really does
White
matter.
Lives Matter.
And you can trigger people in the most smallest ways. Now,
100%.
now what if somebody in his family just decides to go berserk because of this documentary and go about it in a wild way? What if they just start going crazy and not necessarily just doing it the legal way and say, hey, take this off of Netflix, remove this particular hashtag so it doesn't trigger or target a certain people in the LGBTQIA plus community? What about if they say, you know what? Since y'all so fixated, I'm gonna go crazy and just start doing the same thing that he did. Everybody can react a different way. And those glasses, somebody actually found those glasses and purchased them for $150,000. So somebody just made 150K off of this. Meanwhile, the family is still not over it, having to go
Mhm.
through it, grieve it in the public eye again, and then somebody is making money off of it. That's just is wild to
But
me.
there is always a group of people who just they have this fix. I don't. I read the word today and I totally forget what it is. But you have this group of people who just have a thing for killers. You always hear about it. Scott Peterson he started getting tons of fan mail, you know, before he was convicted, and even more so. Richard Ramirez got married while he was in prison. Um, I can't. I'm not brushed up on my serial killer knowledge, but they always all have a following.
Mm.
Um, the guy in Colorado, the Netflix is the plug for true crime. I don't know what's going on with the rest of their shows. They're getting canceled and all of this, but
Yeah.
if you are into true crime, Netflix is it. And I know Netflix is about to start tripping. So Peacock is another one that's coming up. They
Really?
have a program coming out soon, The Dark Side of Barney, um, which apparently there was a bunch
I
of
love you.
bullshit
You
going
love
on.
me. That Barney?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, they made Winnie the Pooh a horror movie. Did you know that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they made a horror version of Winnie the Pooh. They made him
Oh,
scary.
those are my favorite books.
Winnie the Pooh as a
When
horror movie? Who thinks? Again, they fetishize the murders. Yes, Trey. This is a fetish for some people. Some people have a fetish for feet. Some people have a fetish for the color blue. Some other people have a fetish for chopping a head off and putting it in a deep freezer. Like, yes,
well,
unfortunately.
Trey, are you talking about the people who like mail these murderers racy pictures and love letters and all of this?
Mm,
But it's sad.
yes,
So
it's very sad.
I Googled this earlier because you always hear about how many women love true crime. Um, it and it was something like 73%. Yes,
Yeah,
what
that's funny.
percentage of true crime audience? Yeah, it is 73%. And it's wild.
And for women, which is crazy because a lot of the times, not all serial killers target women, but because in this particular case, Jeffrey Dahmer targeted men, and particularly black gay men. Some of them they were not all black, but the majority of them were, even to the point where he moved into a black neighborhood because he wanted to continue killing black gay men. But it's weird that women would be interested in something like this because we are often the victims of this.
So yeah, yeah. I
Charles
don't know
Manson.
if it's like a. I don't know. I don't know. It is, and I guess that is something that I need to explore for my own self because I just got done talking about how I love true crime, but a specific genre of true crime that I really really love is the um the uh the cases. Like, I like following these, maybe they didn't do it, maybe they're
Yeah,
innocent type of thing.
yeah. But
um
you know what? As you,
Syed he got released from prison last year. His conviction, I mean last week, his conviction was thrown out, and I have been following that case for a very long time. And so it's nice to see that that he was able to, because it was looking rough for a few years. He was accused back in the 90s of murdering his girlfriend when they were in high school, down in Baltimore.
mm-hmm.
And matter of fact, the high school that they went to, Woodlawn, is the high school that my ex went to. But
Yikes.
and
Woodlawn, I went to Morgan State.
oh,
So
okay.
I've heard about Woodlawn High School. No, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
No, thank you. Is that I remember when I was living in Baltimore, everybody was talking about Mondawmin.
Yeah. West
Yeah,
Baltimore.
yes. And I remember Mondawmin Mall used to be the shoot up mall.
Yeah.
Like, don't go over there because
Yeah, my
they
ex would
shoot up.
never let me go visit there. We would, if it was something, we would either go to Arundel Mills. If it was something quick, we would go to like Security Square Mall or down
I was
around
Towson Town
Lexington
Center.
Market.
I went to Towson Town Center, and
Yeah,
that was it.
or Towson, but never Mondawmin.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, at that point, I felt safer in the white folks mall. Take me to Towson Town Center real quick, and
Oh,
I
and
had
Towson was nice.
yeah, Towson Town Center was a good mall. I never went to any other malls. I heard about Mondawmin Mall, and I was like, nope, I'm good. I don't
Mm-hmm.
even want to see what it's about. I'm gonna take all your word for it. I'm gonna just go ahead and go to take this bus to Towson Town Center Mall and keep it pushing because no.
Yeah.
But as you was talking, I was looking it up, and it says it's now I'm going to butcher this. So all of those that are listening and all of y'all grammar folks and pronunciation folks, please do not get me, but I'm going to pronounce this wrong. I know it. So just bear with me. It's called hybristophilia,
Mm-hmm.
which is an interest and attraction to those who commit crimes. And in some cases, this may be directed towards people in prison for various types of criminal activities. And then I Google, why do I like true crime so much? And this is what Google said. This is not
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca's answer. This is what Google's, because I'll be in the Googles. True crime drama gives us an insight into our culture and norms, as well as our anxieties and values. By watching true crime dramas, we unlock our natural desire to solve puzzles and mysteries and
Hmm.
get to speculate as to why criminals may act the way they do. And then some people deem true crime relaxing, and they find it relaxing because it'll lure you into a slumber, which is sometimes it would be the voiceovers, like the person who's doing the voiceover, their voice may be soothing and may put you in a relaxed state while you watch or while you're listening. And that's part of the reason why people fall asleep to true crime stories. Like they'll put it on
I
and they
would
fall.
be too scared of the nightmares.
That's me. That's why I don't watch.
I don't want to fall asleep, hearing about somebody who was raped, bound, and murdered.
Yeah, that's me. That's why I don't watch it. And this is why I can't hear it. This is why I can't see it, which is why I have now there's another movie that's out. This may be a little bit, it's not completely off topic, but in the same realm. There's a movie on I want to say it's Netflix called A Jazz Man's Blues.
Oh,
Now listen, people,
no.
listen. I usually get my Netflix suggestions from social media because sometimes I may be scrolling and find something, but a lot of my timeline, we are all movie watchers. So people be like, what do y'all suggest for Netflix?
And
And
they
I
were going
kept
crazy
seeing
over that one.
a jazz man's blues, a jazz man's blues, a jazz man's blues. So I'm like, oh, okay. I'm looking it up. I'm like, oh, okay. It takes place in the 40s. All right. It may be a little juke joint type of movie. I'm
Yeah,
thinking it's
yeah,
one of those. I'm thinking it's going to give me Outer Wild feelings, right?
yeah.
I'm thinking it's going to be like a current another type of Outer Wild movie. When I watched this movie, 10 minutes into it, I looked at my husband like, okay, we could take this off now because it was covered in racism. It was covered in you boy, you nigger. It was the same classic story that here you go, black man liking a woman that and this is a spoiler alert. So if y'all watched it, okay, then y'all know what I'm talking about. If y'all ain't watch it, oh well. A black man liking a woman who may be mixed or may be light skinned, and she's against the rules and don't like her, and she's part of a family, and the dude is everybody's watching him. And long story short, the movie ends with this man being hanged from a tree. So a part of me thought in the beginning of the movie to stop watching it. I said it to my husband, like, why are we watching this? I was already like, no, thank you. This is not
Hmm.
intriguing to me at all.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm ready to do the dancing. I'm ready to hear the music. I'm ready to see the
Because at
brothers.
the beginning, the mom can really, really sing. And
Yes.
it opens
So
up with
I'm
like the
thinking,
mom singing and the music, and it's like,
yes. So
okay,
the opening of it gave you all the feels like, oh man, to be born in that era.
child, and then it goes to shit.
Then it goes down the
5 minutes.
drain. Then it goes down the drain. And I'm just like,
Actually, not even
okay, so
5
he's
minutes.
casting this, the
Like
chick that he likes.
as soon as they asked the young man to play the trumpet, all of a sudden it's just a downward slope from there.
Right. So now I get the title, A Jazz Man's Blues. I'm thinking it's going to be a story of triumph. Like, okay, he wants to be a singer, but he keeps getting,
Mhm.
he keeps getting adversity, but he pushes through and ends up being like the biggest jazz singer
Mhm.
in that time. No. It ends completely the opposite way. And I'm just like, why? But my timeline was flooded with this movie. Oh, it's such a good movie. Go watch this. It was so good. I enjoyed this.
Yeah,
And I watched it and I was like, so y'all enjoy it? It is
I
2022.
got I
And
got
y'all
tricked
just
into
still
that
watching
as
movies
well.
where we are being hung from trees?
Yeah,
Why? And then you go on social media and petition everybody else to watch this. Same thing with the Dahmer.
yeah,
Everybody was like, yo, this Dahmer series is crazy. I can't watch, but I'm going to keep watching because now I'm on episode 4 and I
yeah.
just want
No,
to know
I
what
didn't
else
even
is
get that
happening.
far.
Like, why do y'all do this? And maybe it's just me. Call me old lady, whatever the case may be. But why are we still putting ourselves in this space where we are watching this happen to ourselves? Like, you do take that stuff in, even though people don't think that they do. You're
Hmm.
watching a movie of this white man luring all of these black gay men to his home to kill them. His neighbor, who was hip to the game and was not being believed because she was a black woman, so they totally ignored what she said. And then you watch this stuff, you are traumatized by it, but that fetish or that you're intrigued by it so much that you keep watching because you already watched 4 or 5 episodes of it. And then you go on social media and say, yo, this is crazy. Y'all should watch this.
Hey, come on, join me.
Yeah, come join in the trauma. Come watch these little boys be chopped up. Come watch the police do a horrible job and not listen to black women. Come on, come with me. Let's do this together.
There is
I'll
this
never understand.
movie, Mississippi Goddamn, I think is the name. Or
Hmm.
Mississippi Damn, Mississippi Damn. That's what it's called. Worst movie I've ever seen in my life next to Precious. Um,
Not Precious.
why? No, Precious was horrible. She's being sexually abused by the mom, sexually abused by the dad. She pregnant to was it the mom's boyfriend or her
Mm-hmm.
actual biological
Mm-hmm.
dad? I
Mm-hmm.
can't remember, but I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, I was praying for this fictional character. Like I was really praying for her.
Meanwhile, everybody's like, Monique did such a good job in that movie. Her acting is amazing.
I'm over here in tears. Oh Lord, please
Yeah.
help Precious. Please help the Preciouses of the world. But that
Right.
movie, Mississippi Dam, is just, I mean, trauma, trauma, trauma.
Yeah.
No end in sight. And this, I got like a third of the way. I said, I'm not watching this shit.
That's me with Rosewood.
Yeah,
When I watched Rosewood, that was one of the Trey says listening to a nature drum documentary if you like the
that is
sound of
what
the
I
voices.
do.
Yeah.
Now,
Um
nature documentaries and shows I find to be very soothing.
yes, there's a few of them that Obama did on Discovery Plus.
Mm.
That's very good. Will Smith did some too that was very good also. But that's how I felt with Rosewood. Like Rosewood was one of those movies um where I started to that was my first understanding of I can't watch these movies. I can't watch these types of movies because it does put you in a spirit. And some people like my cousin, like Stacks, he watches those movies because it puts a battery in his back, right? It gives him motivation to kind of get through this world because of so much that we've been through, and we're not being hung by trees anymore, but
Mm-hmm.
there's still a lot of that trauma in our daily lives. It gives people motivation to keep going because we've come a long way. We still have a long way to go, but we've come a long way. Dogs are not being sick on us. We are not being, in front of fire hydrants like we used to. We are still being called niggers, just maybe not completely opening. There's no color only water fountains anymore. So we've come a long way, but we still got a long way to go. But that's one of those movies where I can't watch it. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that more so. Like I went to go see Birth of a Nation. I walked out of that movie theater. I couldn't stand it. I could not stand it. And this is 2018.
Mm-hmm.
This is only a few years ago. Where I had to walk out of the theater. I could not take it anymore. And I was like,
So
I don't
I
understand
find
the fixation of
solace.
trauma stuff like this.
I find solace in Nat Turner's story only because
Hmm.
he he won the Bible who would at that was used to subjugate, you know, black folks. He turned it
Hmm.
around and was able to get power from it. He
Nat Turner is a Libra, by the
killed
way. Shout out to Nat Turner. He's a Libra.
he killed some folks, which
Yeah.
is always great.
Yep.
I mean, racist folks.
Yep.
Um, and he was a prophet. And I don't know if too many people know this. Before he was hung, you got anything to say?
Hmm.
He prophesied the Civil War. I mean, down to brother against brother. I mean, almost down
Yep.
to
Yep.
like the
Yep.
month. Like,
And Nat Turner has the same birthday as me, October 2nd. His birthday was yesterday. So that's my Libra brother. Shout out Nat
yeah,
Turner. But
yeah.
yes,
It
his
was
story is amazing. The
Nat
story is
Turner Day.
amazing. But the visuals I could do without.
The visuals, I don't want to see anybody else get hung by a noose anywhere, anytime. I can't take it. I
Right.
I, I turn my
Right.
head when I
Right.
watch Shawshank Redemption. And that's not even racial. But when it comes to racial, as soon as I see that, I want to turn it off immediately. I don't have to see anything like that ever again in life. When I'm watching the documentary about Black history and they start playing Strange Fruit and start showing those
Yes.
images,
Yes.
I'm like, oh my God, get me out of here. And
And then
I put my
me,
head down. I turn, I turn the TV down
right.
until I
And
think it's
me,
over.
I'm a creative, right? And I have a degree in production. So when I'm watching this stuff, I understand everything that they're doing. The visuals, the lighting, the music, it's all evoking emotion. So I get all of
Hmm.
that. I got my degree in that. But it's still hard to see. It's still hard to see. So and this is something that happened to us a long time ago, and this is on a movie set, and it's fake. So I could just imagine what our people went through seeing that in real life. We got a comment from Trey.
Um,
Trey says, I
like,
disagree with lynching being taken from films. People trying to deny it in textbooks. Hollywood is the only place to show what happened. And I agree. I agree with that, Trey. I do, because sometimes people do learn differently. Some people learn by listening. Some people learn by reading. Some people learn by watching. So yes, seeing a man being lynched does give you an idea to be like, I'm never going to let that happen again. So I do get that point as to why it needs to be seen. But I
I don't
also
like
feel like
seeing it.
we have to be mindful of there's balance, right? There's balance.
Hmm.
I do believe that seeing it does give you a mindset as to where we've come from and how far we've come. And even though we have more to go, however, I don't think that you need to be watching it. That's just me. I don't need to be watching it all the time. I don't need to watch the Dahmer series and then go watch Rosewood and then go watch the Nat Turner movie and then go
It's
watch Roots and then it's too much. At some point, you have to fast from that, because you will take that into your spirit, and then you will go outside and go to Walmart, and the line too long, and a white person look at you funny, and then you over here busting shots up in the Walmart. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to be doing that. Connor, and Craig over there, they were not in the movie. They didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? And you do take in that spirit. So I that's my reasoning for not watching it. But I do understand where Trey is coming from about sometimes you got to see it to really get the full totality of we've come a long way, and it does give
I
you
want
pride in your
them.
blackness. But yes,
I
for
want
our
them, if they're going to do it, to do it, do it, do it. Yes, so that other people, like Trey says, I didn't mean for our community. No, we know what the hell happened.
yeah,
We've heard it, from our
yeah,
grandparents, great grandparents, or whatever. I
yeah,
want them to show it in its totality.
yeah,
How their ancestors, chopped off body parts, sat,
yeah.
had picnics with their kids and sat up and ate their, I don't know what they were eating back then. I don't
Body
know.
parts. Yeah.
Marshmallow and mayonnaise sandwiches. I don't know. But,
But
they were
Nick, let me
eating that
ask you.
shit, watching somebody die and then burn, but before all that, they're cutting off body parts. Here, I'll take a toe. The penis
Yeah,
was the
yeah,
most valuable one. So
yeah.
if they're going to show that stuff, then let's show it for real.
And you know what, Nick? Let me ask you a question. And Trey, you can answer this question in the comments as well. Don't you feel, or do you feel like, because I feel like white people know that history. They know that they hung us on trees. They know what they did to us, and they teach that to their children, which is why you got little 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 year old white kids calling black kids niggas. Like, they know the history. We don't know our history because we're learning it from our oppressor. So they keep a lot of the real history from us. I think they already know this stuff. So yes, they may need a visual so they can see it in real life, because you do have some of the younger people who are not born in that era, not knowing completely what's going on, but their parents and their grandparents who were living in that era know exactly what was happening, and they teach that to the younger generation. So that visual is not is not only to inform some people, I think they already know, because a lot of people in Hollywood are white. So they are making these stories not to
Mhm.
inform themselves. They want us to see ourselves hung on trees and all of this black trauma. Nobody
Mhm.
was sitting around saying, you know what, I am bored and I just need a Jeffrey Dahmer documentary to come in and give me something to watch. And this was done by a black man. This series, this Jeffrey Dahmer series, is done by a black actor. To be clear,
It's just, and I don't, if I don't ever hear again how beautiful and how gorgeous Ted Bundy is or
yuck,
was, I
yuck,
just like, come on.
yuck,
He was like a rapist and a murderer, and we're sitting there
yuck,
talking about,
yuck.
but
And
horrible.
we could move on from this topic. If
Yeah, I was just about
whenever
to
you want.
say
Yeah.
horrible segue, but um, horror movies. I feel like an asshole for moving into this direction. People, this is what we had to talk about Dahmer because it's what people are talking about. And there were some things that needed to be touched on. Like the insensitivity of so much that's going on with it, which is
Mhm.
you know doing it without notifying the family, and
Yeah.
the way that people are like lusting over, they have this Jeffrey Dahmer, Evan Peters construed lust thing or whatever. But yeah, so it needed to be talked about. But getting back to the fun stuff.
Ha. Right. And Trey wanted to respond. He says, "I don't think we learn from our oppressor. If anything, we have always learned from word of mouth." Okay.
That is very much an African
The
tradition.
Menendez brother.
It's very much an African tradition for us
Yeah.
to learn things by word of mouth.
Yeah. To
Um,
pass down they pass down their
the
stories,
oral
and we pass down
tradition.
ours too. Yep. Yep. Go ahead, Nick. There. Sorry. I didn't
Um,
interrupt.
so every year, my kids and I,
Mm-hmm.
we we watch scary movies like in October. Like I don't watch them like all the time, and I didn't always watch them, but
Mm-hmm.
that's a lie. I grew up watching Freddy Krueger, Poltergeist, The Exorcist. Um,
Yeah, I watched Freddy Krueger and Jason,
yeah.
and again, many
Oh,
many moons
Hellraiser.
ago, I stopped. I
They
stopped
got a
that
lot more
scene.
graphic.
Yeah, that scene, and let me tell you how vivid it is in my mind. That scene in Freddy Krueger with the blood on the ceiling
Mm-hmm.
is still in my brain. How old is that movie?
Mm.
Yeah, I'm good on that. Chucky,
Soon
I'm
as
good.
anybody
I'm good on
says,
all of it.
as soon
Yeah,
as
no thank you.
anybody says Freddy Krueger, I always think about, oh, was it four? I forget which one it is, but where the woman, she's supposed to be the tough girl lifting weights and all of this, and then in the dream, and then he like turns her into a roach, and then she goes into the
I
roach
can't.
motel, and then he steps on it.
I can't do it. I can't do it. See, because now you're describing it, and I'm seeing it in my head. So I'm gonna have to watch a cartoon before I go to bed because I
Okay,
can't do it. I can't. And that's the reason why. Because you see how you can bring it back
so
in your mind. That's the kind of stuff that I can't see, which is why I have decided not to
okay,
watch horror films for a
so
long time.
okay, so okay, so first we'll talk about things that I like to watch. And then we
Mhm.
will end it with the Snoopy and the Hocus
Right.
Pocus and all that stuff.
We'll talk about the Little Mermaid. No, we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. But I get what you're saying. I used to watch those movies when I was a kid, of course, which which is so crazy because you would think that it would be the opposite. As a kid, I would be scared of because I don't know yet that this is fake, right? I'm a kid, so I'm scared of everything. And then as I got older, I'm like, oh, that's just catch up. That is not real blood. Oh, that's just makeup. Oh, those is just That's not even a real knife. Like that's plastic. They shined it up and made it look real. Like you would
I
think
be
as a
trying to tell myself that even when I can't watch Law and Order,
yeah.
and I'm
See,
like, oh, Nicole, it's just makeup.
yeah, and just like what Trey said, Freddy was always funny gore to him. Michael Myers on Halloween was a no, right? And you would think that it would happen that way, but as a kid, I was able to watch it. I was like, okay, ha 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 ha. But as I got older, then I was just like, oh no, I can't watch this no more. This is because then I would go home and I would see the images that I seen in the movie and I couldn't sleep. And I would just be like, why
You
is it
look at like a
happening?
blank wall, and you're like seeing like the ingrained image in your brain.
Even and I know people are like, Rebecca, you scaredy cat, like grow up. And I understand what people are saying. And even me being a thespian and being an actress and knowing movies and knowing production and knowing all of this is fake, 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 fake. It's still the image that stays in my mind. I watched the making of the Thriller video and watched them change Michael Jackson's face, and I knew it was makeup. And I still cannot watch that video. I still can't. And
I
I watched the
used to
making
get
of it.
scared. That was a scary video. And
I
what
literally
were we
watched
like
them change his
7 or 8
face.
when it came out?
Yeah, I was a
If that
kid.
even, it was scary. The
Yeah, I'm not
zombies
even gonna
coming up
Google
out
it
the
because I'll see the
wall.
image.
She's there with Michael. Then all of a sudden, he turns around. His face is all scary, and he's got those yellow eyes. It's
Michael
like,
Myers was 6 feet, 15, 6 foot 15 inches, and no one that big should be that damn sneaky.
wow.
The glowing one coming up from the sewer. Yeah, see, I'm good on all of that. I'm good on all of that.
I was looking at a house on Zillow going wild. It's a page here on Facebook, and they show like really silly houses like,
Mhm.
what was the architect thinking? But or they'll watch like they'll post like silly things. So there was a house, the pictures were up, and this stuff comes off of Zillow. Somebody was dressed as Michael Myers, and they were in every single picture. So like if you were showing the yard, they would be ducked behind the tree somewhere just peeking out.
No, see,
Same thing in the house around the corner, or else they will be looking in the kitchen window while you're taking pictures of the kitchen. It was creepy.
yeah, I can't. I don't understand. That's like I don't understand why people want to be scared like that. Like, ooh, and then start laughing. That scared me. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. I did not get that gene when God made me. I did not stand in that line to get that gene. I was in another line. I was in the scary line
Um,
because I don't understand why somebody would be like, okay, let's go to like a haunted house and that was funny. And let me go ahead and walk through this door and some ghost jumps out at me. Boo! That's so
I can't
funny.
do
Like,
haunted houses, but
mm-mm.
I do. I guess for me, because I'm not a thrill seeker, I'm not going to be jumping out the airplanes, getting on roller coasters and stuff. So that for me is my thrill seeking, getting scared.
See, mine is a roller
Like,
coaster. Like, I'll get on a roller coaster at 120 miles an hour upside down, right?
woo!
That's me. I'm like, whoa, because I'd rather be 120 feet in the air going 90 miles an hour upside down, and the only thing holding me is one steel bar around my
Yeah.
stomach. That's my thrill seeking. My thrill seeking is that, not being scared. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'll go down a tube into a pool and hit the bottom and swim back up. That's my thrill seeking, right? I can't get
I would faint.
scared.
Um, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
can't.
so I like the Saw movies.
I couldn't watch
I
that
like the
either.
Conjuring movies. The second Annabelle is dumb. The Nun was dumb.
Is
Um,
there a scary movie that you watched that you was like, okay, I like scary movies, but I can't watch this one? Is there anyone that you was like, this is where I draw the line? I gotta
Mm,
stop it right here. I can't watch nothing like this again. Or was
Precious.
the Precious is not
Precious was scary.
Precious is not a horror film.
Shucks, it was for
Well,
Precious.
it was for Precious.
But no, but what I will do is I'll watch it in the daylight with my kids.
Okay.
And then I'll watch nothing but SpongeBob for the rest of the day.
Because you got to get it out of your system. See? That's what I'm saying.
When the kids first made me watch The Conjuring with them, I was like, listen, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it now because it's 11 in the morning.
No, not at breakfast.
So
You over there eating your breakfast watching a horror film. This is ridiculous.
it was early.
Trey said the Final Destinations movie freaked him out. Yeah, like driving like in a car, some of those scenes in the car. Yeah, I wasn't
My
I only watched one Final Destination and that was the final destination for me. That was the final one. The final one
my
for me.
sister loved those. But like really the things that I make sure I do watch is like the Charlie Brown,
Mm-hmm.
Halloween. Like that is
Yeah, driving behind a log truck.
like
Yep.
that is the holiday stuff for me. Like watching Charlie Brown get dissed because he had that stupid holy ghost costume.
Yeah.
I know a
See,
lot of people don't celebrate Halloween, but I really love it. Matter of
that's
fact, at
again.
work today, we were planning our Halloween costumes.
Yeah, no.
And we decorated it, our office. So when you come
With
to the door,
cobwebs and spiders and everything orange.
a big spooky ghost type of thing with like ragged clothes hanging
Mm-mm.
on the door,
Mm-mm.
and if we wanted to be really spooky, we could find a way to like press her button and because she makes like all these scary noises.
See, one of the in the neighborhood that I live in, you know how people have wreaths on their door.
Hmm.
Well, this person has a skeleton hanging in front of their house on the door, like right there.
Yeah.
So there was a time where we would go like trick or treating. Even though I'm not really big on Halloween again because I don't like my entertainment to be scary. There are some times where I would, just when Jasmine was a kid, we'll go. I never really did it as a kid to go trick or treating, but Jasmine wanted to go one time. We went around in this neighborhood, and every house in this neighborhood was done. Some of them were very, very intricate, and you could just tell like they go all out. So their electric bill in October must be ridiculously high because
Hmm.
it's like this in Christmas time too. So you have some houses that do this type of decoration every year.
Hmm.
But just because. And some of it be like it's very, very, very scary. Trey says the Addams Family, the Great Pumpkin, Nightmare Before Christmas, Beetlejuice. Now, yeah, Beetlejuice I did watch. Mine is the Christmas Story with the leg lamp. That's a classic for me every year during Christmas. But yeah, I get why everybody wants to do it every year because it's not real, right? It's entertainment, and people find their entertainment in many different ways. For me, my entertainment cannot be traumatic or something that's going to keep me up at night. I don't want to be scared to be entertained. I don't want none of that. And people laugh at me all the time because they're like, you are a grown ass woman and you are scared of Chucky. He's not even real. He's a fake doll. And I'm like, yes, and yes,
I'll
and
tell
I
you
don't care.
what is supposed to be real. Some of those Conjuring movies. There's this couple, they do spiritual work to to get like evil out of people's houses.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
So that aspect of it really, really interests me.
See? That's what it is. So you like that kind of stuff because you like true crime. See, the most true crime you're going to get out of me is Law and Order, CSI, NCIS.
See, now there was an
That's the
episode
most
of
crime you're going to get out of
there
me.
was an episode of Law and Order SVU that I had watched. I had to stop watching that show. Like realistic stuff that can really happen, I
Yeah.
can't watch. So, okay, so that answers your question. Like
Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs, no. As soon as I
No,
see them girls in the pit
Clarice.
with Buffalo Bill dancing, trying on their skin and stuff, I can't do it.
So if you're watching it and it's totally like you can tell it's fabricated, you're like, okay, I can watch that because I know for real that it's fake. But if it's something that can happen in real life, then you're like,
And
no.
so for this particular SVU, this man had murdered these women and tied them up in these weird, I don't want to say weird, I don't want to like sound
Fetish
like I'm
shame.
judging anybody's kink.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he had like tied them up, their legs and their arms, kind of, and their face. Like it looked like they died awake, and their faces were just so contorted, like they died like scared. I almost dropped that remote trying to turn that shit off.
See, I can't.
Because the rapist is really out here with us.
I ain't gonna be able to do it.
Yeah,
But
no. I said, oh no.
SVU do take their plot lines from headlines. So yes, a lot. Law and Order. I actually sidebar for my production degree. I took a class on a series, like on character development,
Mm-hmm.
production, visuals, music, all of that. I did not know what the show was going to be that we were studying, but it ended up being Law and Order. There's actually a class, a textbook, and everything on studying the show Law and Order. And let me tell you something. That show is the business. Everybody that wants to do a TV show should study Law and Order because they have it down packed from the character development to
Mm-hmm.
how they do the stories, the way that they portray the story in a way that it's correct, factual,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't reveal too much of the real story because they're not a court type of show. It's just a fictional show, so they got to kind of tweak it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when they did the Chris Brown and Rihanna story in one of the Law and Order episodes, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I was watching it, and I was like, that's the Chris Brown and Rihanna story. They just did it
Mm-hmm.
so smoothly. Just everything, just from the way that you could have, like Mariska Hargitay, she's been on that show for like 100 years, and how much skill it takes to have a character be developed in that way. That is a
Mm-hmm.
perfect show to watch. But yeah, some of those, and those, what you're saying about the faces is what I'm saying in regards to the images. How you are just able to recall that in your mind, that means it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you have a fear or whenever you're scared about something, you can easily bring that back up.
Yeah.
And if you don't have
That's how
control
it
of,
was with that Atlanta episode, Trinity to the Bone. I'm telling you, like I couldn't go to sleep because that woman's face would just pop up in my head.
yeah,
Great
mm-mm.
episode. I loved hearing, the song Trinity to the Bone, sweet, sweet TNT.
Yeah, yeah.
But that picture, oh my God.
See, yeah. No, I can't do it. It's too much for me, and people laugh at me all the time about it, but I just that's just for me, and I don't and I'm very mindful of letting my daughter watch some of that too.
Mm-hmm.
um Trey said shows like that are weird for the people that were involved with the killer. um and that goes back to the Dahmer stuff. Like, this is something that everybody is entertained by, but this is your real life trauma. And it's a lot on the spirit to watch people be so entertained and so intrigued by something
Yes.
that was so traumatic to you that 20 years later you're still triggered by it so much to the point where you can't shake it. That is a lot for people to deal with, and you got to have a um a major hold on your spirit to be able to handle that, because if you don't, it can drive you crazy. And I don't mean crazy in a derogatory manner. I mean, you can be, disheveled in your mind about how to respond to that. Um, Trey said it's a very surreal feeling to see someone in prison stripes on the 6 o'clock news. Yes,
Hmm.
yes, it is, and I'm thankful that I haven't actually witnessed that where somebody that I've known has committed a crime or has been part of a crime to the point where I can actually see it and go on YouTube and Google it, and it's right there. You know what I'm saying? The only time that has ever happened to me in my life was the man that raped me. He died in
Mm.
a car accident, and his car accident was it made the news because he went through the windshield, and it happened to be on a
Mm.
major street. It was on a major street, so that major street, when that accident happened, it backed up traffic. So when they're doing the traffic news, like, oh, such such is backed up because of an accident, and of course the accident made the news. Other than that, I've never had to deal with that. And this was a long time ago, so it doesn't affect me in that manner. But I could imagine if my father was chopped up by Jeffrey Dahmer, and now here I am 20 years later having to relive that. It would undo all the healing that I've been trying to do for the past 20 years.
And the trauma wasn't only in the murder and knowing how he was murdered, it's also in not being able to give your loved one a funeral, an open casket funeral, or, just, knowing
Closure.
that this person may have ingested some of your loved one's body,
Oh,
or, because he did have that vat of acid. And so, like,
you know how cuckoo for
maybe not
Cocoa Puffs you gotta be to do that?
maybe not even being able to, to have your loved one's body. So it's not just knowing that your loved one was murdered. It's knowing that your loved one was murdered in a horrendous way by a monstrous human being. And
Who
then,
sought
even
after
after
them?
he was done, because Jeffrey Dahmer was a necrophiliac, knowing that he may have molested your loved one's dead corpse, and
Oh,
then did all of that stuff afterwards with their body parts. I
listen,
can't imagine that level of trauma.
right. Like being like being people say being black in America is the hardest thing. That's a trauma that that is unreal. That is unreal. I could not imagine that. I could not imagine that. And the funeral part is the closure that the family members get for the loved one. Like my uncle just passed away, and my aunt decided to cremate him.
Hmm.
So there was no casket funeral. Um and part of the reason is because I think it's because of cost, because it does cost it's expensive to die, right? A lot of people can't afford to die. A part of it also was because of there was damage to the body, so he would not have looked the same if they was to do a casket funeral. So she decided to just cremate him immediately.
Hmm.
um and that not having closure is a lot for the surviving members, because I know my mom, that really hit her, that she wasn't able to say goodbye to her brother because his wife decided to cremate him immediately. um and Trey said, I already know I gotta work till noon the day of my funeral. What? I already know I gotta work till noon the day of my funeral. Explain that, Trey. Or maybe I'm just confusion right now. But you know what I'm saying? So that closure, that closure, or that not having closure, that lack of closure is traumatizing also. That's part
Mm-hmm.
of the not being able to heal part.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that, and I know that this has been said that the victim should sue, um, or try and seek something out of this. I know that the uproar got the LGBTQ hashtag removed from Netflix. So when you're looking up, um, queer videos or queer movies on Netflix, that doesn't pop up anymore, but it still pops up in all other places. Um,
I was thinking about that. I was because we call Jeffrey Dahmer gay, but in watching the what I did watch,
I get it right now.
um,
He's so about he's gonna have to work up until 12 o'clock to pay for his funeral.
mhm.
He'll be at his funeral in his casket at 1 o'clock. I get it now. That went over my head, but I get it now. Yes,
But
because it costs at
so
least
I
ten
know
thousand.
that they identify him as gay, but I cannot think of the word that of what he was besides a necrophil. What turned him on was the dead bodies, but also the look of the innards, meaning the spleen, the kidneys, the intestines, and all of that. So I don't know if he was really attracted to men, or if he just because if on the show you can see how he blatantly used homophobia and racism to his advantage to
Mm-hmm.
so that he was able to get away with what he got away with for so long. And that's not to say that gay people can't be serial killers and all of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I don't know if gay is the right word for him.
Well, that was the argument, which is why people wanted that hashtag to be removed, because on Netflix they categorize the movies, and
Yeah.
sometimes one movie can come up in more than one category.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted this series to be removed from the queer category, because they didn't want that connection, because it would bring upon another hatred for queer people and target them
Mm-hmm.
for people who like this kind of stuff. And there are a such thing as copycats, because it gets them fame for some reason, this kind of
Mm-hmm.
fame that they like. They would want to redo what he did in the same manner that he did. So they would target queer people, which is the reason why they was like, please take this category, take this away so it doesn't come up in our category. And
Mm-hmm.
Netflix, I believe, agreed to do that. It's still on Netflix. It just doesn't come up in that way anymore,
Yeah.
which again says something to the power that community has to be able to say, listen, we don't want this. And Netflix say, okay, cool, we'll recategorize it. um but that is amazing to me to see. Now I know you were looking for the word of what you were trying to describe, and because I like facts,
Yeah.
I'm googling and I'm getting images, and I gotta stop. I gotta
Yeah.
stop, because I just, yeah, I gotta stop, because I scroll past a video of the abdominal area of an open body. I'm good. So yeah, I can't do it. I'm such an old lady.
Um, Before we wrap this up about Dahmer, I want to say shout out to Molly Ringwald. Molly
Uh
Ringwald.
oh, what she do?
No. She has a part in this, a very big part, and I just think that it is amazing because, of course, Of course we love Molly Ringwald. 16 Candles,
Mm-hmm.
The Breakfast Club,
Yep.
um,
And there's somebody else in this movie too. Is it Niecy
Pretty in
Nash?
Pink. Pardon?
Is it Niecy Nash that's in this too?
Niecy Nash.
Yeah, she plays the neighbor, right? The black neighbor.
Niecy Nash Betts.
Betts, yes, Niecy Nash Betts. I heard she did an amazing job too in this film.
She did.
Yeah, I
She
haven't
did.
watched it. I'm gonna take y'all word for it. I'm good.
She did. Yeah.
Mm-mm. I'm gonna take y'all word for it. But I heard she's amazing in this. Like people are like she's doing an amazing job. And
Yeah.
we haven't seen Molly in a while.
No.
She pops up and does this. Okay.
But one of the things that I like Niecy Nash is on a show. I forget what the name of the show is called, but she up Claws. I really enjoyed Claws. So
Yes, I
yeah,
watched a few episodes of that.
let's give
And
her
it
her
was
things.
yeah. Um she yeah. Oh wow. Did Claws end?
I think is this in is it in the last season or
Because
was
it
last
says when I looked it up, it says 2017 to 2022.
yeah, this is the last season, I believe.
Oh, season 4. It looks like it's 4 seasons. Oh man. Yeah, I did, and yeah, I've seen the first couple episodes of the show, and it was actually really good. I didn't keep up with it, and then it got so far along that I was like, yeah, I'm not going back to watch it.
Mhm.
Yeah, but okay, so Molly Ringwald is in this movie. Okay, we haven't seen her in a while. She popped back up to do Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm sure that check was heavy.
Yeah.
I'm sure that she got a big check to do that. Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-mm-mm. Yep. Well, yeah. That's what we got
So
on.
this is less of so this was less of a spooky show and more of a just stark raving mad people are nuts type of show.
Yeah,
Whether it
I do
is
not.
us true crime aficionados
Right.
or people who commit these horrific
Crimes.
crimes.
Right. And once
And
again, if we,
even Netflix and the other companies who see profit off of these shows and movies and do not bother to give back to the families in any type of way.
yeah, Trey said crazy and crazier. Yes. Scary and scarier for me. I can't do it. So for those of y'all that do like true crime stories, Nick J did say that you can, do your searches on Netflix and do your searches on Peacock. I'm sure everything is on YouTube, and you'll be able to find whatever you can on YouTube. But I did want to give another shout out to Kendra Howell. She has her TikTok in Killing Color. Make sure y'all check that out because she's doing an amazing job with that. For those of you that like true crime stories, you can always leave her suggestions in the comments and she'll look up those stories. So shout out to her. Before we leave, what's your final words on this spooky, scary, true crime loving show, Nick J?
So, final thought. Hi, baby. I love you. That's from my wonderful, wonderful, amazing girlfriend who is watching. So I just want to say I love you, honey. I think I'm gonna be Cruella DeVille for Halloween. And I hope that more people in on my block gives out candy because I'm like sitting there with my candy to hand out on Halloween, and you know the people like walk by because they don't know that anyone on this, and I even have my light on, so I gotta be like, I have candy.
So
So
do you still keep that tradition of taking the candies from strangers?
taking candy from strangers.
Yeah, knocking on doors and saying, "Hey, give me some candy."
No, I give out candy.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you
You
don't go trick
know,
or treating, you just
it's
give it
I
out.
just remember it. I just remember when I was a kid, and it was just so magical. You get to put on these costumes and go around, and everybody gives you candy and stuff. It's very nice.
Okay. Cool. I'll be I'll be home. And I'll be leaving a sign on my door saying we do not have candy, please do not knock.
No.
That's how I grew up. My mother did it. My mother, she
Mm,
would give she I remember like a few years sporadically she may give out candy, but I remember later on in my life she would put a sign on the door saying we do not have candy. Not in a nasty way, but just we do not have candy. And there was no decorations on our house either. So we looked like the house that didn't celebrate it. So don't come
mm.
knocking. Um so, and see, you could that's just how I grew up. I'm sure it's a spiritual thing because a lot of people, um,
Yeah,
feel
Hallelujah night and all that.
it's a celebration. Yeah, I that we didn't do, but a lot of people feel like Halloween is a celebration of death and evil. It gives all the chance for the goobs and goblins to come out, and that's their time. And then right after that is Christmas, and you got to heal the world again. So people dibble dabble with that. But for those of you that do like that are not into that stuff, like I am, it's okay. You are not alone. I am I am there with you in my Michael Jackson voice. For those that do like it, there is a fixation that people have about it. It may not affect them the way that it affects others, so there's no judgment. If that's what you like to do, then fine. But I will give one suggestion for those, if you are around people that don't watch that kind of stuff for whatever reason that they don't, try not to force them because it is a reason why they don't. Their reasoning for why they don't is
Mhm.
enough.
Mhm.
I know for me, it's the images and it's the scary part of it, and I just don't want my entertainment to be traumatic at any moment.
Mhm.
I think there's
Mhm.
enough trauma to deal with in living and being black in general. There's enough trauma we get from everyday life. There's enough trauma we get from living under this government. We don't need no added trauma or drama. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah. On that note, thank you
Wait,
again,
I
everybody.
want to say this real quick. For
Yes.
people who may not celebrate Halloween, but have kids, younger kids, take advantage of like the costume sales. Like my son, my youngest, he loved to wear costumes. So
Yeah.
like at the end of I would buy like Ninja Turtle costumes, Power
Hmm.
Ranger costumes, all kinds of different costumes because he just loved them so much.
Yeah. And I know some places do that. Like some schools may have, costume day or whatever, or they might have
Mhm.
they may have, I know a lot of the cities and places like that will have things like that. So if that's what you're into, then
Mhm.
that's your chance to do it where it's not, they can celebrate it, but it's not in a scary way. If that's what you're into. So that's also another option. Once again, thank you everybody for listening. You have endured all of the scary images that we've given you. Sorry if anybody's triggered. Gotta say that once again. Shout out to Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Blackjack TV, Stream.com. Please go there and subscribe to Channel 6. That is the Guys Podcast Network. Again, shout out to Sean, Stacks, Merv, Tina B, Mark, everybody watching us, all those listening to us on Apple and Spotify. Once
Hey
again,
Trey.
and Trey for joining us in the comments as well. Once again, we are going to speak it into existence. We will have some sponsors, so there will be some promo codes that we're going to give out at one point or another.
Yes. Come on, Audible promo codes.
Yes, we're going to be doing something in the future. So stick with us. For those of us that have been here since the beginning, we thank you so much. Once again, it is a Monday. We will be back tomorrow. Merv and Tayson will be back tomorrow. We'll talk about House of Dragons and Power
Talking
and all
about
that
them
good stuff.
dragons.
Right. I'm going to go upstairs and feed my bearded dragon. My real dragon. I am a mother of dragons. And then we are back. Me and Merv will be back on Wednesday on a Wednesday pod where we talk about any and everything. And if y'all know Merv, we will be talking about any and everything. So we thank you again so much. Y'all have a good night. Peace out. Bye.